Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Breakfast Television. I have Susan Proven, a professional home economist, joining me this morning. And now, Susan, you, of course, you're a fantastic gardener, and we're here to talk about someone like myself who's never done it, what you should start with, and what are the easiest things to grow.
Okay. Well, once upon a time, I was just like you. In fact...
So there's hope for me still.
Oh, yes. Growing up in the inner city of Winnipeg, I actually didn't even know that you needed a potato to grow a potato. I just thought that you went out and bought a package of seeds. My first garden was not a success, but I did learn that you've got to really prepare the soil well. Okay. That means lots of rototilling, maybe even some chemical to kill the grass and other weeds. And then once you've got it very black, you plant your seeds. Another thing is the bigger seeds give you bigger plants to start with. Oh. And that's helpful to a new gardener, because if you start with very, very fine seeds and you can't find the plants and the weeds get ahead of you, you're in trouble.
Okay, that's a good tip.
So I would start with things like beans, maybe some squash, peas, corn, cucumbers are a big seed as well, because those are easy to plant and you can see the plants.
Okay, so that's a good point, is that you want to be able to see the plant. Otherwise, I'd probably confuse a weed with a plant.
You could, if the weeds get ahead of you. But mind you, there are many popular vegetables that are small, like the carrot, the beet. These are small seeds, and they're very easy to grow.
Okay.
The key there is put them in a nice straight row and mark the rows very well, because then when you're looking and the weeds have taken over, at least you know they're going to be in a straight line, and once you find one, you'll find the others.
Oh, okay. That's a really great tip. Now, I know that you really stretch everything, because in addition to what you grow, you don't let anything go to waste. You actually have this dehydrator here, so you dehydrate a lot of things that you grow.
I do. I mean, obviously our season is short, and so we have to be able to put food food aside. And I run a bed and breakfast, and it's important for me because all the food that my guests eat at Fairmount Bed and Breakfast, I have grown. So these are chives, actually, that I picked.
They smell great. The whole studio smells of chives right now.
It's like onion. And I cut them up. Now, I will basically put them in this dehydrator.
So I just want to show that we have layers and layers. So this contraption.
Yeah, it's got about 5 layers.
Wow.
And so those layers, you put chives on every layer.
Okay.
Now you can do other things too, and I brought a couple of examples of other things that I do. At Fairmount, my guests drink mint tea, and the mint is a wild mint. In fact, you might want to smell it.
Oh, let's take this.
I'll give that to you to smell. And meanwhile, I'm putting the top on this dehydrator. Is kind of like a hair dryer, so it works the same way. This is basically a hair dryer, and so we basically fit that hair dryer in there and start her up. And it will take time, though.
It takes a while?
Because obviously the chives are full of moisture, and it will take probably, a few hours. Your whole house will smell of onions, so you may not want that. A nicer smell is the smell of the tomatoes.
Okay, I might shut this off just for right now.
We'll shut that off. These are Romas, Italian paste tomatoes.
Wow, and you grew these as well?
I grew those, and to preserve them, I have sliced them in 1/4-inch depth, thickness, and I've dehydrated them. They are wonderful in bread, so it's kind of like raisin bread, except it's tomato bread, which is wonderful with bacon and eggs and other breakfast foods.
And there are many ways that you can keep your sort of your bounty from your garden and stretch it out all year. You've canned and you've pickled a couple things, jams. You don't need a dehydrator necessarily, right?
Don't go out and buy one of these, because you can achieve the same thing in a microwave, but you will have to watch, because the microwave is very fast. So that means you check it often, especially on a fine product like dill. This is dill, and other herbs. You don't want to overdo the microwave. But an oven works too. So a 200-degree oven, and again, check it occasionally. Just make sure it's not over drying.
To make sure that, and then that way you can keep your great herbs that you've grown and use them all year round. Well, thank you so much for that, Susan. And I know that we're going to make a great salad dressing as well in the next segment.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. We're taking a break here on Breakfast Television. We'll see you after this.